In 2022, we learned that one of the electricians that I worked very closely with passed away. That was the first person that I've known close to me to die by suicide. It broke my heart to hear that he'd passed on, especially in that way. And I just thought, if he was struggling, what could have helped him?
I've had the privilege of working here for Rudolph and Sutton for 40 years. It's the only company I've ever worked for. I got into the trade very young. I was 19. And back in the day when I first started, there was no mental health. It was, hey man, rub some dirt on it and get over it, like we got work to do. It's tough when your home life is brought into your work life, or worse yet, you bring your work life into your home life, and that's where things don't go well.
When it comes to men, there's the whole stigma of wanting to appear strong at all times, especially when you're, in a group of men, you're, trying to not seem weak, which is something that we need to break. Men are less likely to speak up when they're going through a mental health moment.
I think mental health is something that is a taboo subject. People don't want to talk about it because it's a difficult subject, or they don't believe that, people have mental health problems or they can just snap out of it, and it's not true. With me personally, it was just a lot of stress or anxiety at work that actually caused me to have my depression come about and my anxiety come about.
In 2016, I was having a hard time, and my doctor said, it looks like you have anxiety and maybe a little bit of depression, some situational depression. And that's really kind of where things started. And so I got a medication for anxiety, and then about a year later, my mom passed away. I was 25 when she passed. After that, I saw a therapist for the very first time. One of the electricians that I worked very closely with, he was someone that I was close to. Our moms passed away within about a month of each other. And so he was kind of like my buddy that would come in and check in on me, and was a really good support system. He was going through it, and he really sounded like he was going through a hard time. And so I'm so sorry. And he said, but you know me, I'll be fine. You know me. And I thought, yeah, you will be. And I know that the people working close to him knew there were some issues going on. I've known friends that have either made an attempt or have had suicidal thoughts, but that was the first person I've ever lost by suicide. Part of the problem is that even for those of us that do spot these signs and symptoms, the majority of people, the vast majority of people, have no idea how to approach someone and know what to look for. So I did this deep dive in our company about what do we already have in place available for mental health benefits and resources? What don't we have, and what should we be doing? And so that really propelled me into this space of what is the state of mental health in construction. Men are dying by suicide at rates almost 4 times as often as women are, although women are more likely to have a mental illness than men. So women are more likely to reach for those coping strategies and those tools that they need and the resources, while men are seeing and suffering in silence. Last year in May of 2023, one of the local electrician unions, IBEW and NECA, which is the National Electrical Contractors Association, tapped me to create and teach the very first mental health and suicide awareness module for electricians. How do we lead our crews in a way that is supportive of mental health? How do we spot signs and symptoms of someone that may be suicidal, and what do we say? And also to teach them what resources are already available to them and their crews so that they can communicate it to their crews and make sure that they've got that safety net built in. Those electricians were so engaged and had so much to say, and I got a lot of what I call the wide-eyed head nod of like something hit home.
When you think about construction workers being the #1 suicide in America, what kind of pressure are we putting onto our people, or what kind of pressure are they putting on themselves?
We do safety checks for equipment. We do safety checks for, is somebody tied in correctly when you're on the edge of a building? I think we should be checking in and saying, hey, any mental health checks we need to be looking into this week?
When I came on board, the committee was already organized and had been discussing a lot of different avenues. Our committee put together a hard hat sticker that shows 988, which is the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline that's available 24/7 to anyone throughout the country to call, text, or chat with a trained crisis counselor. I recently started writing a mental health article for a column in our company's newsletter. I'm also a book blogger. That's something I'm really passionate about. And so I'm going to be putting together a list of book recommendations all centered around mental health. Mental health and safety should be treated the same way that physical health and safety are. and that we spend so much money, time, and effort on physical health and safety in construction, and we need to be making a similar effort in terms of mental health and safety. And I hope that by me speaking up, that helps others feel better and more comfortable about speaking about it as well.